Hebrews, Hebrews, Hebrews. This is Prophets of Awakening. This is our advanced Bible study night, Tuesday night, the 26th of December, 2023. We'll be reading out of the Apocryphal book for our lesson for the night. Okay. You can go to our YouTube channel, Prophets of Awakening, and check out our videos. We have a lot of videos. And these videos collect a lot of dots for you, lead you to the truth of the Holy Scriptures. And if you like what you're hearing and receiving, I'm asking you to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. It'll be greatly appreciated. And for those that feel the need to support the channel, we got our Cash App running across the bottom of the screen, okay? Give you my hours of operation. On Tuesday nights, we have our Israelite Advanced Bible Study night. That's where everybody comes in and we dialogue and do some Q&A and have a topic for discussion. And then on Wednesday nights we have reading through the Tanakh. We do a lot of reading out of the Tanakh or out of these other books, so-called lost books. We read out of those. And then that's 8 till 10 o'clock on Central Time on Tuesday nights and on Wednesday nights. Then we come back on Thursday night for our Women's Advanced Bible Study night. That's also 8 to 10 Central Time. And then we have our Men's Advanced Bible Study night, 8 to 10 Central Time on Clubhouse on Friday nights. It's the room, the Clubhouse room is named Non-Messianic Conversations. Then we come back on Tuesday, Saturdays, and we have 2 Shabbat classes, one in the morning Shabbat class, 8 to 10 to 12 a.m. Then we come back and close the Shabbat out for an hour, 6 to 7 in the evening, 6 to 7 Central Time. Okay. So for those that don't know, this is a non-Messianic channel. We deal with the Tanakh and the Torah, not being the Old Testament, so-called Book of Remembrance, and the Torah is the first 5 books of the Old Testament that was given to Moses by the Lord of hosts, and pertaining to our laws, our statutes, the prophecies concerning Israel, our culture, and all that. Okay. Shalom and welcome to this channel, and welcome to our Advanced Bible Study. Okay, so we're gonna go into that. We're gonna do our moment of silence, our prayer. We got a song we'll read. Then we go to some current events, little need to know information, and then we'll open it up for some questions and comments if anybody have any. So this moment of silence for the Lord of hosts and all that he's doing to bring about our prophesied deliverance in these last days. Okay. O Lord, righteousness and uprightness belongeth unto thee. Therefore we come before thee at this hour, seeking thy face and looking for righteousness and uprightness, that we may walk before thee as thy servants David, Solomon, Samuel, and Hezekiah did, that we may walk before thee in truth and in righteousness and in rightness of heart. O Lord, allow thy face to shine upon thy people. Hear our plea, Lord. Hear and do. Hide not thy face from us any longer, for we need you so very much at this hour. Peace be unto you. Okay. I'll read a psalm. Okay, I'm going to read Psalm 67. It says, let all the people praise thee. God, be merciful on us and bless us and cause this face to shine upon us. Selah, that thy way may be known upon the earth, thy saving help among all nations. Let the people praise thee, O God, and let all the people praise thee. Oh, let the nations be glad and sing for joy, for thou shalt judge the people righteously and govern the nations upon the earth. Selah. Let the people praise thee, O God. Let all the people praise thee. Then shall the earth yield her increase, and God, even our own God, shall bless us. God shall bless us, and all the ends of the earth shall fear him. So that was Psalm 67. Let all the people praise. Let all the people praise thee. Okay. Anybody have any comments on that? Okay. So with that being said, I go into our current events.
The geopolitical landscape of the Middle East has been thrust into chaos as Russia and Iran join forces to launch a daring attack near a U.S. military base located in Israel. This audacious move has sent shockwaves across the international community, raising questions about the future of the region and the global balance of power. In this comprehensive exploration, we will delve into the details of this audacious attack, dissect its motivations, and analyze the potential consequences that may ripple through the complex web of international relations. The attack, which occurred in the dead of night, took place near the U.S. military base of Camp David, situated in the heart of Israel's Negev Desert. This region has long been a hotspot for geopolitical tensions, and the attack was nothing short of a brazen display of military prowess. Russian and Iranian forces simultaneously launched a coordinated assault, catching the international community off guard. The details of the attack remain shrouded in secrecy, but initial reports suggest a two-pronged approach: a cyber attack targeting communication systems, followed by a swift ground offensive. The cyber attack disrupted communication between the base and external forces, leaving American soldiers temporarily isolated and unable to call for immediate reinforcements. Meanwhile, ground forces comprised of elite Russian Spetsnaz troops and Iranian Revolutionary Guards encircled the base, creating a perilous situation for the U.S. military personnel stationed there. Understanding the motivations behind this audacious attack requires a nuanced examination of the relationships between the key players in the Middle East and the broader global context. Russia and Iran, both facing international sanctions and isolation due to their geopolitical ambitions and actions, found common ground in challenging the existing world order. At the heart of their motivation is a shared desire to challenge and reduce U.S. influence in the Middle East. The region has long been a battleground for global powers seeking to exert control over its vast energy resources and strategic positioning. By targeting a U.S. military base, Russia and Iran are sending a clear message that they are willing to confront the United States head-on in the pursuit of their interests. Russia and Iran have cultivated a deepening strategic partnership in recent years. This alliance, driven by shared objectives such as countering American hegemony, supporting the Syrian government, and opposing Western-backed efforts in the region, has strengthened their resolve to challenge the status quo. The joint attack on the U.S. base near Israel serves as a tangible demonstration of this alliance's capabilities. Both Russia and Iran have faced domestic challenges and unrest in recent years. A military offensive of this magnitude allows their respective governments to divert attention from internal issues and rally their populations around a common cause, creating a sense of unity and patriotism. The audacity and scale of the attack near the U.S. base in Israel have sent shockwaves through the international community, prompting swift reactions from key players around the world. The immediate response from Washington was one of outrage and determination. President Biden condemned the attack as an act of aggression and vowed to protect American interests in the region. The United States swiftly deployed additional troops to the Middle East, while also calling for an emergency meeting of the United Nations Security Council to address the situation. Israel, already facing its share of regional threats, found itself caught in the crossfire of this geopolitical showdown. Israeli leaders expressed their deep concern over the attack and emphasized the need for international cooperation to maintain regional stability. The attack has put Israel in a precarious position, as it must carefully navigate its relationship.
Okay.
Attack near the U.S. base. Israel has exposed the intricate web of regional dynamics and geopolitical implications that have long defined the Middle East. For years, the region has been a battleground for competing interests, from access to energy resources to the ideological and sectarian struggles that permeate the area. The attack is a stark reminder of how interconnected and fragile the geopolitical balance in the Middle East can be. One of the immediate concerns is the potential for the conflict to escalate into a wider regional war. The Middle East has seen its share of proxy conflicts and power struggles, and the involvement of major players like the United States, Russia, and Iran raises the specter of a broader conflagration. The impact of such a conflict on regional stability and the global economy cannot be understated. Furthermore, the attack has the potential to redraw the alliances and partnerships that have defined the Middle East for decades.
Okay. Anybody heard anything about that? Got any comments on it? Okay.
Wish I was here to give you some better news, but unfortunately, these are the circumstances that we have been dealt. The United States is being pulled into a war into the Middle East. Right now, some say a war between the United States and Iran is imminent. Now, I'm going to address what just happened yesterday on Christmas Day. This was something that we've been expecting. This is something we knew. Tensions were escalating, but we were hoping nobody would be hurt. Fortunately, on Christmas Day, U.S. troops were attacked. One is critically injured. Two more do have substantial injuries, but nobody lost their life. So that's at least the good news. Fortunately, we have made additional attacks, but like Pentagon officials have been warning President Biden, these attacks are coming too late. So we're going to address what's going on, what President Biden did, the attacks the United States placed on Iran, and what this means moving forward. All I ask is one thing, takes 2 seconds. Go ahead. Okay? It says right here, the back and forth clash was the latest demonstration of how the Israel-Hamas war is rippling across the Middle East, creating turmoil that has turned U.S. troops at bases in Iraq and Syria into targets. It says Iran-aligned groups in Iraq and Syria oppose Israel's campaign in Gaza and hold the United States partly responsible. They hold us partly responsible. But according to other reports, if the United States does provide funding to Israel, then Iran is going to increase their attacks on U.S. troops. They will most likely ramp up those attacks, and it will not just be a little bit of a critically injured troop. It would be more along the lines of a loss of life. So again, these things are starting to intensify, and we need to respond in the same fashion that Iran is attacking us. We need to do the same thing, if not more. One expert believes, and this could be similar to what many experts believe as well, but one expert just recently, I believe it was on Fox News, said one of the things that we should do as the United States is come out and attack every single known place that we know these groups are at. Every single command post, every single safe house, everything. Come out and attack them all of them. Done. Now, if we were to do that, that would definitely escalate the situation, and we would definitely be in a war with Iran. Now, one thing I can tell you when it comes to any potential war, or what many are calling an imminent war, when it comes to war, we have to look at all sides. We can't just be like, oh, we're being attacked, we have to attack this group. Because if we do that, it will pull in other countries, it will pull in other groups. That's the worry. Right now, especially with the location of Iran, there's a lot of problems in that area. Okay? The Middle East is not a great place to be right now. But at the same time, we here in the United States, we feel safe, right? We feel perfectly safe. But the problem, something that others have brought up as well, is our borders are too insecure right now that we cannot be a threat in other countries, because what could happen is they could send their, doesn't have to be a spy or a terrorist, but they could send people into the United States and wait. Just wait until they're called upon.
Yeah, they got so much stuff going on over there in the Middle East and everywhere, really around the world, but especially over in that region where Hamas and Israel is there, that they're not even talking about. Things are getting escalating fast. So those kind of similar videos. But so anybody have comments? Okay. Here's some need to know information. We're gonna listen to this and then we see if we talk about it.
Make sure to subscribe, like, and share your thoughts on what you think about this video at the end of the video. Now, there is a video which is circulating, which I feel people must be aware of. It is about a report that the U.S. is planning for the mass evacuations of Americans. Now, when John Kirby was asked the likelihood about this during a press briefing, he confirmed that it is true in one way or the other by saying that it would be irresponsible if people were not thinking through a broad range. It continues these impossibilities. Now, what he says next is what shocked me. He goes on to say that certainly evacuations of American citizens is one of those things, given what's going on in the Middle East right now. So this is reasonable to think about. Now, this is really an interesting video that I would urge you, my viewers, to watch to the very end, because in this video, we'll talk about a lot of things concerning this plan. Check out this video. I will be right back.
Okay, well, there was some reporting overnight that the U.S. is planning for mass evacuations of Americans if the war were to spread. Can you kind of give context of how likely you guys are viewing that scenario and whether this is very top level planning or if there's some sort of granular detail you guys are going into on this matter?
I won't go into granular detail on operational planning one way or another, but it would be imprudent and irresponsible if we didn't have folks thinking through a broad range of contingencies and possibilities. And certainly evacuations are one of those things. I mean, there's not a place in the world where the Pentagon doesn't have contingency plans on the shelf. We may need updating, but have them on the shelf to help with the evacuation of American citizens. And given what's going on in the Middle East right now, I think it's perfectly reasonable. I think it would be imprudent and irresponsible if we weren't doing some kind of contingency thinking. But we're not at the point of execution right now. And there are still plenty of opportunities, for instance, even in Israel, for people to get out. We're still doing contract charter flights, and there's still commercial flights going in and out of Ben Gurion. And frankly, the demand signal for our contract charter flights hasn't been very high. They're still going, but they're not all filled.
Okay.
And the same could be said for places like Lebanon. But each country is different, and threats and challenges in each will change over time. And we're doing all the right prudent thinking that you would expect us to.
I know that you've thanked Qatar for its role in the secure release of some of the hostages so far, but I was wondering if the U.S. believes that Qatar should expel the Hamas leaders that are in the country right now.
I don't think. Well, I'll just say we're having conversations with partners across the region, and we know that Qatar has an open line of communication with Hamas. And as you saw, we thank Qatar for their support and helping get those two Americans out. I would just say that those discussions and those conversations are ongoing and critically important. And I think I need to leave it at that.
Now, after watching that video, we can only see how the U.S. is really planning for the mass evacuations of American citizens if the Gaza war escalates. already. Now, this has not happened yet, but it doesn't mean it can't or is not going to happen. But what I'm thinking about right now is what is going to happen to American citizens, or in the name of the US standing up for their allies. Now, people are reacting to this video and they are just sharing their different thoughts on this issue. Check out these teachers. I will be right back. When I do, we talk about.
Okay. So did you hear what they said? They got plans. They're making plans to mass evacuate Americans. So evidently they know something that we don't know. So and the guy that was talking, I think it was Anthony Blinken, is saying that it's not, he didn't deny that it wasn't on the table. So they evidently know something that we don't know about, or they didn't receive some kind of information that what these other nations, Russia and China and Iran, that was planning. So now they got this big, they having this big, matter of fact, I think they had a meeting concerning that. Any comments on that? Anybody heard anything like that? Okay. So with that being said, yeah, you ain't heard nothing?
No, I haven't.
Okay. So anybody got any questions or comments about anything over the weekend that they came across, or what we talked about on Shabbat or Friday night? Any questions or comments? Okay. We'll play this here, then we'll go to the Apocrypha.
Absolutely devastating to America's credit. Credit card debt in the United States just passed $1 trillion in the second quarter of 2023. We don't even have the next numbers in yet. This is the first time ever that this has happened. Economists cite reasons like inflation and rising interest rates as major contributors to this debt crisis. But here's what I dislike about this narrative. It leaves consumers feeling entirely powerless in the entire process. We can't control inflation or what interest rates are doing, but we can control our financial destiny. Let's talk about what's really behind this mounting credit card debt. $1 trillion is astonishing. Number one, a lack of financial education. There is no financial education in the United States, and that really hurts a lot of people. Think about the 18-year-olds who just got out of high school, and they're suddenly legal adults who can make financial decisions for the very first time. And most colleges allow credit card companies to market their products on campuses. I remember at the University of Pittsburgh, where I went, there was a table set up at the student union. And there was for Bank of America to get a credit card. And you could get a $500 limit, I think was the credit card limit I could get at the time. And the interest rate was insane. But they were actively preying on children, basically, to set up these credit cards. And they're paying the college campuses to be there and pay them a fee to set up a table. This is the relationship that they have. And this is setting up Americans for a lifetime of debt and high interest payments. I know this because it's exactly what happened to me. Once you get yourself into that hole, it's very hard to break that cycle. I took that $500 Bank of America credit card and I went down to the main street down there in Pittsburgh, the University of Pittsburgh, and I would go to a CD store. And I would buy CDs, and I was like, oh, this is like free money. I'll pay it back, next month or whatever. But then what happened when I couldn't pay it back? I couldn't afford it. The bill came, I couldn't afford it. Or if I missed the bill, like one time it didn't show up in the mail, or it got lost in the mail. And now my credit gets dinged and my credit score goes down because the bill never showed up and I didn't pay my bill on time. It just creates this horrible cycle. And most people just don't know any better. Credit cards aren't inherently bad if you know how to use them strategically. But if you don't understand how to use them wisely, then you can get yourself into a lot of trouble. I'm telling you, firsthand knowledge, I went $75,000 in debt. It took me years to claw out of that. And I really don't want you to make that same mistake. Number two, a lack of streams of income. Now, most people have one source of income.
Okay.
I never thought I'd see this with the earned income from a 9-to-5 job. Depending on one income stream can be problematic. If you want to have financial freedom, let alone pay all of your bills. Creating multiple streams of income flowing into your family is key. Remember, you can only trade your time for dollars so much, right? There's only a certain number of hours in any given week that you can actually work for somebody else. Well, how can you create passive income that's coming in while you're sleeping or while you're at your other job, while you're trying to build out your dreams? How can you have multiple streams of income coming in? It's absolutely key to break this cycle. Number 3, a culture that tells us we always need more, bigger homes, better cars, updated phones, TVs, computers. Listen, I like nice things as much as the next guy. But if you're digging yourself into a financial hole at the rate of 20% interest or 23% interest, there's an issue. You can't afford the TV. So don't go to Best Buy and put it on a credit card. You shouldn't be buying televisions. And by the way, then all of the time you're going to sit there and waste watching Netflix, you could be building a business, building multiple streams of income. Instead, now you're going further into debt, buying a liability. When you learn to be content with what you have and stop trying to keep up with the Joneses, you'll be able to put a stop to all of this credit card spending. This is not to dismiss the fact that there are people out there actually struggling to pay their bills and provide groceries for their family. That's not what I'm talking about here. You can't deny that marketing and social media make people feel like they always need more. And that, of course, comes at a major price, right? Online that you can do. There's so many opportunities now with the internet to be able to do things online in addition to your day job if you're trying to dig out from this hole. More income will help you pay down your debts faster. Remember, relying on one income stream is going to make it difficult to reach your financial goals. What happens if you lose your job? You know, this is a topic I could speak all day about, but I want you to consider how you can add other income streams to your list. Rental properties, freelancing, entrepreneurship, investing, affiliate marketing, digital products, all of it, just a few ways and a few ideas to start expanding your income. My favorite way to create streams of income is through real estate investing. And I have tons of videos on this channel which are here to help you learn about realistic ways to add rental properties to your portfolio. Then,
okay. Anybody have comments on that? So we're in over $1 million worth of credit card debt. $1 trillion. Is that something? Okay. So with that being said, nobody have anything to say? I was dealing with watching a couple of videos over the weekend and dealing with the lost tribes. I want to go back to this and read it and then talk about it. I'm in the Apocrypha, 2nd Ezra, and I'm gonna start reading it. Chapter 13, verse 23 it says, "Go gather the people together. Tell them not to look for you for 40 days, but you must prepare for yourself many writing tablets and take." Let me see if I'm in the right place. Okay. Okay. I'm in the right place. Yeah, I was in the wrong place. Okay. Where Ezra had a dream about a man he saw coming up out of the sea. I'm gonna read that. It says, pick it up in 13 and 41. It says, "How have we sinned against you?" This Ezra communicating with the Lord of hosts. "How have we sinned against you? What harm have we done to you that you have entirely abandoned us and stay in this place? For all the prophets, you alone," oh, it's the Israelites talking to Ezra. "You alone are left to us. Let a grape cluster like a grape cluster out of a vineyard, and let the lamp like a lamp in a dark place, and like a safe harbor for a ship in a storm. Are not the evils that have been befallen us enough? So if you abandon us, how much better it would have been for us if we too had been burned in the burning of Zion." So this is when Jerusalem got, Nebuchadnezzar came, burned down Jerusalem. and burn down Israel. For we are no better than those who died there. And they wept aloud. And I answered them and said, have courage, Israel, and do not be sorrowful, you house of Jacob, for you are remembered before the Most High, and the Mighty One will never forget you. For I have not abandoned you or withdrawn from you, but I came to this place to pray over the desolation of Zion, and to ask for the mercy in view of the degradation of our sanctuary. And now go home, every one of you, and when these days are over, I will come to you. And the people went back to the city as I had told them to do. But I stayed in the field for 7 days. 7 days, there you go again, as he had commanded me, and I ate only the flowers of the field. And my food was the vegetables in those days. And it came to pass about the 7th day that in the night I dreamed a dream, and behold, a wind arose from the sea, so that it stirred up all the waves. And I looked, and behold, the wind brought out of the heart of the sea something like the figure of a man. And this man flew with the clouds of heaven, and wherever he turned his face to look, everything was seen by him trembled. And wherever the voice went from his mouth, all who heard his voice waxed as or melted as wax melts when it feels the fire. And after that I looked, and behold, an innumerable multitude of men was gathered together from the four winds of heaven to make war upon the man who had come up out of the sea. And I looked, and behold, he carved himself out a great mountain and flew upon it. But I sought to see the region or the place from which the mountain had been carved, and I could not. And after that I looked, and behold, all who gathered together against him to fight with him were much afraid, but dared to fight. So let's look at the timeline. The reason why I'm reading this again. The timeline is as a result of this. So remember, Daniel prophesied about the four beasts, right? And Daniel said that within those four beasts, at the end, it was a stone was gonna come and hit that image at the feet and cause it to break in pieces, and it's gonna blow away like the chaff with the wind, it's gonna blow away. So that stone, when they tell you in Christianity that stone is Jesus, but the stone is Israel, the nation of Israel. That's the army. That's in Ezekiel 37. So remember, like I said, this is after Nebuchadnezzar came. Jerusalem been destroyed, burned down like by Nebuchadnezzar. Okay, so it says, and behold, when he saw the onset of the multitude that approached. So another thing you have to understand, they're gonna twist this right here and put Jesus in it, but it's actually David, because David is the one prophesied to come back after the Most High raised his army up. Then it tells you what before he raised the army up, he raised David up, and then after he raised David up is when he raised the army up. David is over the army. So it says, and behold, when he saw the onslaught of the multitude, this David that approached, he did not arise, he did not raise his hand or hold his sword or any weapon of war, but I saw only how he sent out of his mouth. They take this right here and put it on JC in Revelations. He went out of his mouth what looked like a flood of fire, and out of his lips a flaming breath, and from his tongue he sent forth a storm of sparks. These were all mixed together, the flood of fire, the flaming breath, and the mighty storm, and it fell upon the onslaught of the multitude which were ready to fight and burn and burned them all up, so that suddenly there was nothing to be seen of the countless multitude, but that the dust of their ashes and the smell of the smoke. So that's the same thing what Daniel said at the end of the fourth beast. When the storm hit the feet, the chaff came and broke it in pieces, and the wind blew it away, like the something, blew it away. So it says, when I saw it, I was amazed. Afterwards, I saw this man come down from the mountain, right? They tell you Revelation is a lamb. Afterwards, I saw this man come down from the mountain and called him, check this out, and called him another multitude that was peaceable. Then many people came to him, some joyful, some sorrowful, some in feathers, some bringing offerings. So remember this right here. Afterwards, I saw this man come down from the mountain and called to him another peaceable multitude. Then many people came to him, some joyful, some sorrowful, some in feathers, some bringing offerings. He said, and then in an excess of fear, I awoke and besought the Most High and said, you have shown your slave these wonders from the beginning, and have thought me worthy to have my prayers heard by you. Now show me further the meaning of this dream. For as I think of it in my mind, Atlas, for those who will be left in those days, and Atlas, much more of those who are not left. For those who are not left will be sad, since they know what is reserved for the last days, but cannot attain to them. But Atlas, for those who are left, too, for this reason, for they must experience great dangers and much distress, as these dreams show. Yet it is better for all the dangers to attain those things than to pass from the world like a cloud and not see what will happen at the end. And he answered me and said, I will tell you the meaning of this vision, and I will reveal to you the things which you speak. As for what you say about those left, check it out. As for what you say about those that left, this is the meaning. He who occasions the danger at that time will guard those who are exposed to danger, who have works and faith in the Almighty. So you must understand that those who are left are more blessed than those who have died. This is the meaning of the vision. And for you seeing a man, check it out, you seeing a man come up from the heart of the sea. He is the one whom the Most High has kept a long time, through whom he will redeem his creation, and he will organize those who are left. So I'm going to read this, but I'm going to go show you that it's David. It says, as for you seeing the wind and the fire and the storm issue from his mouth, as for he is not holding a sword or a weapon of war, but destroying the onslaught of the multitude that came to subdue him. This is the meaning. Behold, the days are coming when the Most High is going to deliver those who are on the earth, and the amazement will come upon those who live on the earth, and they will plan to make war one upon another, city upon city, place upon place, people upon people, kingdom upon kingdom, and it will come about when this happened that the signs will occur, which I showed you before. So we're looking at that right now. Nation upon nation, city upon city, kingdom upon, we're seeing that right now happening. So then right here is when we know this was added. And my son will be revealed, whom you saw as a man coming up. And it will come about when all the nations hear his voice. So let's look at that. So we see right now what's going on. All these wars breaking out all over the place. But he says that when the time comes, when the Most High raise up this army in Ezekiel 37, raise David up, they're gonna be in the midst of all these wars going on. But when they show up, is when they're gonna turn from that and come together as one to turn toward what the Most High had just done with the armies and with David. But check out what they got us to think. With the scenario in the with the powers that be. They saying that they already got everybody hoodwinked that it's gonna be an alien invasion. And they say that when this alien invasion come, everybody gonna turn from what they're doing because the aliens gonna be a more greater threat to mankind than what they got going on amongst themselves. So the whole world got to come together to fight against this alien invasion. What we see right here, it ain't no damn alien invasion. It's Ezekiel 37, and the Most High to raise David up. And like I showed you in Joel, we already looking at it, I showed you the other day, the trumpets. Trumpets already being blown. The hell this, this prophecy that's coming to pass. So let me read that right quick. It says, I'm going somewhere with this because it's tied to the 12. It's tied to the 10 tribes, so-called 10 lost tribes. So I'm in Psalm 132. Okay, and it says to show you that it ain't none of Jesus. That's my objective. So it says, let me read. I'll read the whole. It's only 18 verses. This is a song pertaining to David coming back in the end. Lord, remember. This is one of David's musicians wrote this. Lord, remember David and all his affliction, how he swore unto the Lord and vowed unto the mighty God Jacob. Surely I will not come into the tabernacle of my house, nor go up into my bed. I will not give sleep to mine eyes, or slumber to my eyelids, until I find out a place for the Lord, a habitation for the mighty God of Jacob. Lo, we heard it in Ephesus. We found it in the fields of the woods. We will go into his tabernacle, for we will worship at his footstool. Arise, O Lord, into thy rest, thou an ark of thy strength. Let thy priests be clothed with righteousness, and let thy saints shout aloud for joy. Now here you go right here. For thy servant David's sake, turn not away the face of thy anointed. So we see right here, for David's sake, and he's telling you David is the anointed one. Anointed means Messiah. So this is the Messiah that's coming back right here. 11, the Lord hath sworn in truth unto David that he would not turn from it. Of the fruit of his body will he set upon thy throne. Right? So you're going to say, well, that's where JC came from, out of David's lineage, right? Let's keep reading. If thy children will keep my covenant and my testimony that I shall teach them, their children shall also sit upon thy throne forevermore. For the Lord hath chosen Zion. He hath desired it for his habitation. This is the Lord of hosts. This is my rest forever. Here will I dwell, for I have desired it. I will abundantly bless her provisions, and I will satisfy her poor with bread. So the her right here is Israel and Jerusalem. 16, I will also clothe her priests with salvation, and her saints shall shout aloud for joy. There will I make the horn of David bud. So why is it saying that? When David died, they put him in the ground, planted him, like they did all the rest of the Israelites. They died, they planted him in the ground. That's why Nehemiah said what he said to the king, why should I not be sad when my father's sepulchres lie waste in Jerusalem, they not being attended to, because they knew they was going to get resurrected. So he says, I will also clothe the priest with salvation, and the saints shall shout aloud for joy. Then there will I make the horn of David the bud. So David dead, and he's going to raise David back up. For what? to rule this, to run his army, to bring his judgment forth on earth to all the people that persecuted his people. He says, "There will I make the horn of David the bud. I have ordained a lamp for mine anointing." Who's this anointed? Verse 10. "Well, thy servant David say, turn not away thy face of thy anointed." David is the Messiah. So he says he got a lamp, said he got a new body for David. That's the lamp he's talking about. I got a new body. I have ordained a lamp for my anointing. Then 18, David, his enemies will I clothe with shame, but upon him shall his crown flourish. So he's going to put David's crown back on his own head. Right? So let's look at it. Let's look at 189 pertaining to this crown. 89, Psalms 89 says, I'm not going to read all of it. I'm going to start at, let me see, 34. Psalms 89, 34. "My covenant will I not break, nor alter the thing that is gone out of my mouth, out of my lips, nor the thing that is gone out of my lips. Once have I sworn by my holiness that I will not lie unto David." See, there you got every opportunity to say Jesus. But every time, everywhere we read in here, he's talking to David. So he says right here, once have I sworn by my holiness that I will not lie unto David. His seed shall endure forever, and his throne as the sun before me. It shall be established forever as the moon, and as a faithful witness in heaven. Selah. But thou hast, look at this. This is what the nation's done. Psalms 83. "But thou hast cast off and abhorred. Thou hast been wroth with thine anointing." This is David. And denigrated it. 39. "Thou hast made void the covenant of thy servant. Thou hast profaned his crown." See that? By casting it down to the ground. Now look what he say over in 132. Psalm 132. Says in the last three verses. Psalms 132, 16. "I will also clothe the priest with salvation, and her saints shall shout aloud with joy." What saints? The saints in Ezekiel 37 that he raised up. Right? 17. "There will I make the horn of David the bud. I have ordained a lamp for my anointing. His enemies will I clothe with shame, but upon himself shall his crown flourish." So he's going to pick the crown back up where they throw it and denigrated him and put it back on his head. So when you go back to 2nd Ezra, you see this ain't none of no damn son. Let's go back over here. Says, Apocrypha, 2nd Ezra chapter 13, verse 32 says, and it will come about when this happens that the signs will occur, which is where we at right now. They're fighting against each other, which I showed you before, and my son, that's David, will be revealed. Who you saw as a man coming up out of the sea. And it will come about that when all the nations hear his voice, David's voice, that every man will leave his country and his wars. See that? That's where we are now. Leave these wars that they have one another, and a countless multitude, such as you saw, will be gathered together, wishing to come to subdue him. But they got you think it's going to be an alien invasion, right? But he was standing on the top of Mount Zion. See that? Not no damn lamb. David standing on top of Mount Zion, and Zion will come and be revealed to all men, made ready and built, like the mountain that you saw carved out without hands. And my son David will charge the heathen who have come with their ungodliness. This was a symbolism symbolized by the storm. And I will upbraid them to their face with their evil thoughts and their tortures, which they are to be tortured, which were symbolized by the flame. And he will destroy them without effort by the law, which is symbolized by fire. So let's read that. Let's go to Psalms. Let's go to Ezekiel 37 right quick. Ezekiel 37. Okay. Like I said, Ezra. This all this was given to Ezra. So let's look at it. Like I said, he got every opportunity to say Jesus, but he don't never say it. He always say David. So I'm in Ezekiel 37, and I'm in verse 22. Start at verse 22. And I will make them one nation in the land upon the mountains of Israel. So let's look at that. It says he's gonna make them one nation. That's because the kingdoms got split up during the time of Solomon. You got Judah and you got Israel, right? Israel is the 10 lost tribes. Like I said, that's what we headed. So it says he's gonna bring the two sticks back together. He's gonna put Judah and Ephraim, which is Israel, back together. So it says 22, I will make them one nation in the land upon the mountains of Israel, one king. See that? JC supposed to be a king. But he says one king shall be king to them all, and they shall be no more two nations. Neither shall there be divided into two kingdoms anymore at all. Neither shall they defile themselves with any of their any more with their idols, nor with their detestable things, nor with any of their transgressions. But I will save them out of all of the dwelling places wherein they are sinned, and I will cleanse them. So will I be. So shall they be my people, and I will be their God. Here 24. And David, see that? Not Yahushua, not no son, not no damn lamb. He says, and David, my servant, shall be king over them, and they all shall have one shepherd, and they shall also walk in my, here you go, they shall also walk in my judgments and observe my statutes and do them, and they shall dwell in the land that I have given unto their Jacob, my servant, wherein their fathers have dwelt, and they shall dwell therein, even they and their children and their children's children forever. And my servant David shall be their prince forever. Moreover, will I make a covenant of peace with them, and it shall be an everlasting covenant with them, and I will place them and multiply them, and I will set my sanctuary in the midst of them. So we see right here what I just read. He said the sparks. Let me read it again. I'm in second Ezra. He says, 36, 13, second Ezra 13 and 36. And Zion will come and be revealed to all men, made ready and built, like a mountain that you saw carved out without hands. And David will charge the heathen who have come with their ungodliness. Now here you go. This was symbolized by the storm, and I will upbraid them to their faces with their evil thoughts and the tortures which they are to be tortured, which are symbolized by the flame, and he will destroy them without effort by the law. That's what we just read, Ezekiel 37. They're gonna keep my law. David gonna cause them to keep his law. This is how he destroyed the nation with the Most High law, right? So that's how David died, keeping the Most High law. He learned not to go to the left or to the right. She come straight down the middle, every jot and tittle. That's what David learned after all the mistakes he made with the Lord. He died in righteousness, and the Most High recompensed righteousness on him. That's in 2 Samuel 23. It says, and as for you seeing him gather himself together, another, here you go. We're going to see if these 10 tribes is over here in America. And as for you seeing him gather about another multitude that was peaceable, these are the 10 tribes. See that? These are the 10 tribes. Go back to Ezekiel 37. 2 nations. Judah is over here. So it says, gather about himself another multitude that was peaceable. These are the 10 tribes that in the days of King Hosea were carried away from their own land into captivity, whom Shalmaneser, king of Assyria, made captives and carried them beyond the river. They were carried off to another country, but they formed this plan among themselves. So they was in Assyria. We know where Assyria at. It ain't in America. So they was in Assyria, and they formed this plan among themselves to leave the heathen population, leave Assyria, and go to a more distant region where the human race had never been. That's the west coast of Africa. When you go do your research, and never lived. So that it's Indians all over here. It's Indians all over here. Aztecs here. So it says to leave the heathen population and go to a more distant region where the human race had never lived, so that there perhaps they might keep their statues, which they had not kept in their own country. And they went in by the narrow passage of the Euphrates. Euphrates ain't over here. For the Most High then did wonders for them, for he held back the source of the river until they had passed over. But it was a long journey of a year and a half to the country. And that country is called Azra. There they have lived until this time. That's what they are right now. Over in the middle, over in West Africa, the 10 tribes. That's why the Southern Kingdom, when they was ran out by Antioch Epiphanes, they already knew the 10 tribes is it. They just came across. They couldn't go back to Egypt, so they passed Egypt, came through the Sahara Desert, and ended up in the West Coast where the rest of them was at. And when the slave ships came, they came and got Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, because they were the head. They the ones of prophecy. They the ones got scattered. Right? So we see right here, David is out of Judah. So what we're looking at right here, when he raised David up, Judah is raised up. We raised up right now. We waking up, Judah waking up over here. So when David comes, he come to the southern kingdom. That's why it says he come down off of Mount Zion and goes to a peaceable multitude. The peaceable multitude is the 10 tribes. There they have lived until this time. And now, when they are about to come again, the Most High will hold back the sources of the river again. So that this is Zechariah chapter 3, from beyond the rivers of Ethiopia. We're going to call this dispersed. It says, I will hold back the sources of the river again, so that they shall cross over. It is on the account that you saw the multitude gathering together in peace. But those who were left of your people, who are found within the holy borders, will live. Therefore, it will be that when he destroys the multitude of nations that are gathered together, he will protect the people that remain, and then he will show them many wonders. And I said, Sovereign Lord, show me this. Why I saw a man come up out of the heart of the sea. And he said to me, just as no one can seek out or know what is in the depth of the sea, no one on earth can see my son. We know that's like David, or those who are with him, except at the time of his day. This is the meaning of the dream that you have had. And you alone have been enlightened about these things, because you have forsaken your own affairs and devoted yourself to mine, and have sought after my law. For you have devoted your life to wisdom and called understanding your mother. This is why I have shown you this. For there is reward with the Most High. For it will be that after 3 more days, I will say other things to you and declare weighty and wonderful matters to you. So notice this. This is why I'm going to read this last part again, because it's important. It says, just no one can seek out or know what is in the depth of the sea, so no one on earth can see David or the people that's with him, or those who are with him. except at the time of his day. This is the meaning of the dream that you had. And you alone have been enlightened, right? Why was he enlightened about these things? Because you have forsaken your own affairs and devoted yourself to mine, and have sought after my law, for you have devoted your life to wisdom and the call understanding your mother. This is why I have shown you this. For there is reward with the Most High. Okay. Anybody got any questions or comments on that? Everybody good? No comments, questions? And I'm just, like I said, I'm just bedazzled at the fact that how people keep saying over and over again how this America thing, and you know, it's almost, it's at the point to where it's more deceptive than the JC thing. Okay. So like I said, I had watched a couple of videos on that, and I wanted to talk about it. So I want to shine a light on it. Anybody have no comments? Anybody have any comments about anything they want to talk about before we close out? Everybody good?
Yes.
I'm good.
Okay. So I'll see y'all tomorrow for reading through the Tanakh. Say shalom.
Shalom, shalom.
Okay.